Hello, everyone. This is Nerd and Weeb walking to a bar. It has been quite a hot minute since we've done our podcast. I'm Glenn, your designated drinker,
I'm Will, your designated driver.
and today I'm having myself a thing called Purple Rain. Oh, and Will and I just had. Without further ado, let's try out this Purple Rain. I must say, that is very delicious. Very fruity, but still good. Alright, well, aside from that, Will and I have a guest today. Why not introduce yourself?
Well, hi everyone. My name is Rojan. I am just a high school friend of Glenn for quite a long time. And I also live pretty, in the area, same as him. So I decided to come and visit him and his roommate and see and spend time with you guys. So Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
No problem.
So, let's start things off with, we had Rojan here to have him and I do a recap of this year's Animathon, year 2022. It was the 3-day one, and I enjoyed it. I was happy to see everybody cosplaying. What was your input for this year's Animathon, there, Rojan?
Let me think here. So I can say within my time being in 3 days there, it was rather, I guess, they were rather slow a little bit because they were still coming back with, the Animathon because of
Yeah.
COVID reasons. So,
Right.
for example, the voice actors and such, they were pretty downgraded compared from the last few years back in the day.
Indeed.
And I would assume it's because of budget costs.
Probably.
But I can say overall, the vendors and such, they've been actually pretty exceptionally well. I did manage to find some good items and artwork, and even managed to meet some cool cosplayers and such.
Oh, yeah.
And even the panels and such, like the what you call it? There's some of like the VTubing. Like the one that we
Oh,
went
yes, that's right. The VTuber panel was amazing.
to. Yes, that one was very intuitive and very informative for anybody that wishes to be a VTuber.
Yep.
That helps me, and I'm sure that also helps you too, Glenn.
Yep. For those who have been tuning in to my Twitch channel, Small Epic, I've been doing some shiny hunting on my end ever since I started VTubing, and I'm very happy about it. Around 30 some odd followers now, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, I gotta agree with the voice actors. Not too much in the way of known ones. I think a good majority of it, if not all of it, was Genshin Impact, if I were to think correctly. Yeah.
Genshin Impact is pretty big.
Oh yeah, pretty big, but I mean, everyone at this year's Animathon was... There was never not one... Okay, maybe, two VTubers this year for Animathon, their Erosion?
Well, they probably got to rebuild their money back. They have probably enough just to order one big name to come in.
For those who haven't been caught up with the news, today the website got an update. Tickets tickets to begin with are up. Hotels have been yet to be announced. And for the dates, surprisingly, it's not in August next year. It's going to be in July 14th to 16th. So, yeah, start requesting those days off as soon as you can. What do you think? What will be of next year? I mean, it's hard to tell, but what do you...
Before we ask that stuff,
Oh, yeah.
we should probably tell the viewers, their first-time listeners, about this stuff. What is a gift?
Ah, yes.
Why is there hotels? Why is there tickets?
Indeed. Okay, yes, that is a very good thing. So, anime conventions have been going on for a very good amount of time. Conventions in general, like Comic-Con, is a well-known one, but anime conventions are much different than what regular conventions are. It relies all about, of course, towards anime. So, the OG3, One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, the current ones like My Hero Academia, Chainsaw Man, stuff like that.
Sword Art Online.
Sword Art Online.
Is that really an anime though?
Not really. But we still take it either way.
No joke. Inside
The
joke.
parody is better.
The parody. The abridged.
The abridged
Agreed.
series, I love it.
True.
Inside joke, everyone. But yeah, anime conventions have been going on probably over the recent years, like starting in the 90s, probably the 80s, but 90s to 2000s for sure. And yeah, there's like plenty of anime conventions out there. Animethon and Otafest are the regional ones where we go.
Our close one, yeah, but there's many all over the world.
Many all over the world, indeed. Yeah.
You may have to travel a bit for some, but they do exist.
Cosplaying is a word of costume and play put together, or costume play, but cosplay.
And then you just said you went to the artist alleys and stuff like that.
Correct.
So there's art at these conventions?
Yes, there are all kinds of sample, let's say, furry art, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, let me think. There's also realistic art as well. I'm not so familiar with all the art genres that people do. But it all ranges from, like, realistic art to animal art, furry art, and just pretty much everybody's own art style that they can share with the community. And with that, they can also, like, help support other people with that and also help with their future projects. And I bought so many from some of the familiar ones. There's two of them that I've seen. I forgot their names, but I usually buy from there, and I bought like about 5 or 6 of them in particular.
I always see Glenn come back with posters and stickers and stuff. So I'm guessing as you guys were saying, there's like an artist alley, because I know at Comic-Con there's like an artist alley.
Yep.
So when you go to these things, should people be bringing cash? Can you do cards? How do you safely travel with this stuff?
Okay, so to answer all those 3 questions, first thing is, yes, you can do cash with them. Second of all, you can also do debit or credit card. They do allow that, and you can also get an email of the receipt and also a paper copy if they have that. And then to safely carry it, I would usually recommend there is something like at your local dollar stores, depending on where you are, America or Canada. You can find like those poster cans or whatever it is. It's usually like, I believe it's somewhere there. They can hold the posters for you to safely secure them and keep them safe, so that way they will not be giving like any cracks or crinkles whenever you carry it. Obviously the artist, they will provide you with like a protection for your artwork, but that's still not enough to really be viable in protecting it. So I highly recommend, if you guys are looking to get a poster protector or something to carry it, just get like those poster carriers, and that should help you whenever you carry them.
So then I guess the other big one, which you were leading into, Glenn, you were talking about, was cosplay. I remember when we went to the one convention right after Suicide Squad, we had the drinking game of how many you take a shot for every unique Harley Quinn you would see, and we had 20. There's 20 Harley Quinns.
No, I think it was 24, and we both had 12 each.
Yeah.
Of Coca-Cola, and full disclosure.
Glenn, it would have been hilarious to watch Glenn drink, but I don't drink, so we made it Coke, and it still burned.
Still burned, yep. We have a running joke that every time we have a friend who says ironically we do that many shots of Coca-Cola, we still yet to do it.
So tell us about cosplay, whoever wants to take the floor.
Would you want to do that, or should I?
Give me an idea on it.
Okay, so cosplay, as mentioned, costume play, in one word. You see people dressed up, in other words. You might see a Roadhog or a Kirito from, like, Overwatch or Sword Art Online. In other words, the anime version of saying dress up. People do ask for photos. Of course, consent is always a good thing to ask for picture ops. I think this year alone, what do you think? 11 people asked me for my Roadhog cosplay there, Erosion, around there?
I think it was like 7 to 10.
But yeah, no. There are people who don't cosplay, and nothing wrong with that. You be you. You could be a regular person in regular clothing with, like, at least some anime shirts or pants or whatever.
That's what you call a weeb.
Indeed.
I'm pretty sure, yes, that's most of the people going to be listening to this episode.
Yes.
Yep. And then some specific hoodies.
Yes, you and your husband.
I have not got any specific hoodies, thank you very much. Anyway, or you could cosplay. It's totally up to you.
Does Roshan cosplay?
Yes, I did.
What do you got?
I cosplayed back like in 2013 as Kirito. And usually that has been given with positive reviews because I pretty much almost look like him with like the hairstyle and such. Only just difference is he has a 4 eyes with glasses, so
Yep.
Smart one. And to this day, I still have that same costume after like 8 years ago from me doing it, and it still fits me to this time.
Yep.
So yeah, I have done that. I am considering a cosplaying as maybe Kazuha from Genshin Impact, so probably next year. We'll see.
Important thing, always go to the prop check. Because if you go to an anime convention without any prop check, someone might be suspicious of you, thinking that it is a real weapon. Yes, it will be a fictional weapon, but it's always good to get prop check.
Saturday. Let's go through your Saturday. So, basically, hopping in at any time. Give us kind of like what was like the convention. Tell us what you did. How did it go? Any unique stuff? Just talk about it, I guess. Like
So-
starting in the morning.
Usually the conventions start around 10 in the morning, I believe they're around there. And for this year, Rojin and I met up for all 3 days. And we didn't do too much in the way. We went to the VTuber panel, but I can't remember what else we did.
Well, the VTuber panel, yes, we did that. We also did some looking around the artist alley.
Yep.
And we also took a look in the gaming area as well.
Yes, that's right.
We did a bit of that, just took a look around for your magic, I believe. And then we also saw the other people that were playing some games.
Oh, yes, with the gaming lounge.
So it's not just anime.
It's not just anime. There is gaming lounges that has like they bring their own computers, they bring their own switches. But if it comes to tournaments, you have to bring your own material. So you have to bring your own Switch controller.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like most Smash tournaments.
We did see some anime.
I hope you get to watch anime, seeing it's an anime convention.
I went to watch Kaguya-sama Love is War. And I think... Oh, I can't remember what else we watched this year. Oh, Roshan, back me up. I can't remember.
Let me see here. Well, I did see that there was some Bleach that was playing. There was
Right.
like episode 1 to 3 and then 3 to 6, I believe. I only managed to stay only for one episode just for nostalgia regions because they were going to release a new movie of Bleach within this year. I believe they released it already like a couple months ago, although I could be wrong, so don't take my word for it.
Right, because it is nearing to 2023, but sometimes things get held back.
Correct, yes. So, yep, that's what I remember I was checking out.
Right. Usually we just go to the artist alley and vendors, but you can go to panels and anime show-ins. The anime show-ins, depending on where you go, is either dubbed or subbed.
Well, before you get into that hot topic, Roshan, sub or dub?
Let me think. Honestly, I would just go with the sub usually because I feel like that is sometimes like what I go for, depending on the anime though. Depending. For example, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Yep.
I first went with the dub because I knew with the English and the way that the art style was done. I forgot who made that art style.
Studio Trigger.
Studio Trigger.
Yes, those are very good with the story and the artwork. I love their
Yeah.
design, and I told myself, you know what? I will go with the dub because I know that this is going to be a very good story.
Yep.
So it always just depends on the studio, and it depends on like the artwork and what they wish to portray for the audience. So it really varies, but sub a little bit more.
And if you were going to ask me, dubbed it all the way. I don't know why.
I think I'm in with Rojan. I find there's some shows, like, especially since I'm like, if I was to say anime that I like, it's going to be a lot of it's going to be old school. So, like, Case Closed is way better dubbed. Like, the Detective Moore sounds like an idiot and a fool in the original language, but, like, in English, it's so good. Same with, like, Edge Runner. Edge Runners were way better in English than it was.
And Inuyasha.
Yep. But then there's definitely other ones where it's like either they just don't have a dubbing or they are like way better.
Yeah, no, indeed. Oh yeah, so back to that topic. So for those who are new or want to get into anime, sub and dub are two different things. Subs means subtitled, and then dub as in like dubbed over.
Yeah, to your region's language.
To your region's language. I don't know why. I personally like dubbed anime the most. I think maybe once or twice when we used to do Two Guys on a Couch. Yeah. We watched sub Haiku, I think it was.
Oh, we watched Haruhi.
Haruhi. No, that was dubbed though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we never watched Haiku.
No, I'm pretty sure the volleyball one.
Yeah, we never watched Haiku. It was Rick and Morty and.
Oh yes. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you could watch anime, and then there's the thing called panels. So panels are either hosted by the convention by themselves, or people who are random people who wants to do a group. So say, for instance, Will, Rojan, and I want to do a Has-Been Hotel panel, right? Ask the hotel cast or whatever we want to call it. What we do is go onto the anime convention's website. We email up the anime convention, say, hey, we want to book these days for our panel. And then we wait for people to come in and we just do what we do. So like if it's like a ask Q&A panel, it's not by the official people that they're doing the Q&A, it's just random people talking to random people. That's an example. Or like there's also panels where they come from like Japan and teach you how to do K-pop. Just examples out there on what panels are.
I see. So that's similar to, like, I guess the VTuber.
The VTuber one is a panel that we went to. Yes, that is indeed correct.
All right.
So a panel is basically like a workshop?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your view on panels that are, like, random? Because I know there's... when I hear panel, I think, because, again, coming from the Comic-Con side of things, I think, like, comic writers or... movie actors and stuff, so like you're going to something like an official, but I have seen many of times where at these conventions, like the anime conventions, that there's people that dress up as characters and then they do a panel with their friends, so like they rent out the room and it's Q&A as the characters. What's your views on a non-official sort of panel like that? What is, like, so far, like, assuming no one's doing harm, which they don't, like it's just fun, but what's your view on, like, say, official panels versus fan panels?
I would say as long as the panel is not within legal grounds, such as, like, claiming in copyright, I would say that is fine, in my opinion, because they are not trying to impose that is theirs, and that is only for fan base. So as long as they put the quote-unquote unofficial, and it's just for fun, then I think they're safe.
Right. Would you guys recommend that to somebody's first time, or would you recommend them if they wanted to go to a panel, go to like one that they may know?
I would suggest that they should go to one that is official, because so that way they can have a better understanding of like what that kind of panel is. For example, let's say if it's an anime panel, it's best to go to an official one. So that way they can have a better understanding of what it means for this anime and what it is with this. Whereas with a fan-based panel, it's more like based on their own opinion side. So it's not exactly really straight to the point or very official, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
I would suggest that.
Going to official ones will be a very good thing to start off with, just so then, to get ideas from.
Did you guys get lunch breaks, or was there like afternoon stuff? I know I hear from you all the time, Glenn, that there's like dance parties that happen at the end.
Yes. We'll get to the dance quick enough here.
Getting to part 2 in the afternoon now. You've done all your shopping in the days. We've gone to a panel with you guys. Now we're in the afternoon section of like this weekend / the last, Sunday afternoon, Saturday afternoon. What are we doing next in this tour?
So, yes, food. Food is important. Drinks are important. And then drinks, Northern Weep kind of drinks. Do that at your own time, probably at nighttime, or if you're renting out a hotel, do that in there, but not in public.
Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive.
Be responsible.
Be responsible, indeed. And then, normal day drinks like water, pop, etc., etc. Same with lunch. Try to do it as soon as you can. Your hygiene for that is very important, because if you don't, you might feel woozy.
Yeah, wash your butts. Conventions get very stinky or really warm depending on where you live.
Yeah, but be very careful, because if you don't, you might Heat exhaustion, especially if you're in cosplay. Try to do it as soon as you can. Be aware of the time for food and all that.
Does Rojan have food tips and tricks?
Yes, I can say so. So usually whenever I go to a convention, when there's food stands, I usually, before I feel sort of hungry, I tend to look around the stalls for the foods. For me, as a person, I like to find the better value worth of my money when I go for food. So I would recommend go for a balanced diet of food. So one with vegetables, rice, and meat. And there was a place that I went to that is I don't know if anybody knows Edo Japan, but there's a place there that was similar to that aspect, and I usually choose that. That gives you more value of your money. And it's very well balanced, and it gets you throughout the day. And I would also say get a bottle of water. Hydration is always important for you to carry, especially when you're walking around a lot and sweating a lot, just like you guys said.
Indeed.
So be sure to always carry at least a water bottle with you. You can bring your backpack and such, whatever feels comfortable, but always ensure to have something balanced with you, and just find something good, better worth value of your money.
So we just had lunch, and what are we up to next?
AMVs. That's something that we should touch upon. AMVs is an acronym for Anime Music Videos. Sometimes they go for at least a good half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. And then the one at Animethon and Otafest, the official ones, go for at least a good hour and a half, probably 2 hours.
Not the video itself, right? Just the time period that they're doing them?
So anime music videos varies from a minute to 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's like a music video just with anime instead of
Correct.
People.
They do contests of these things, and they just show off sometimes as well. They're not in the same timeline. They just do have it in the convention. So anime music video contest could be at from noon to 3:30, and then showcase could be another day from 4 to 5, and then one that has a very interesting twist to it, which I think is an 18+ one, for 7 to 8 p.m. With it being an 18+, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But those are examples. I'm not fully exaggerating the exact times, just examples out there. Yeah. But yes, anime music videos show off different animes with different songs, just like any music video would. I tend to go to the contests just so that I could be inspired, glamorized. There's there's a specific word that I'm thinking of here. Amazed of people's editing skills, of put in so much time and effort from like one specific anime, or very dependent on what the music video is, to put in music behind it. And like you look at these things, it's like, I know I'm not there, but I'm there. If that makes sense to you guys.
So there's talks of contests. Have any of you guys entered any of these contests, or is it just AMVs? Is there multiple contests?
I myself have gone to some cosplay contests myself over my years. I don't know about Roshan though.
No, I actually haven't been into any.
It's an interesting thing. Maybe one year you and I should try to participate. Or you were going to say something? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you basically touched on contests. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what a contest is.
Yeah.
There is actually one thing I should mention. It's the, what do you call that? The maid and the butler cafes.
Ah, yes. You know, I never went myself. You would have more experience to those than I would, so...
Oh, sure.
That sounds like a degenerate thing that would be at an anime convention.
Well, I think it's Anime-thon. No, wait.
No, it's not an anime convention without a maid.
No, yeah, you're right. Well, I know Roshan has been to those more than I have.
I have, yes.
So, I wouldn't mind listening in on this, to be honest.
All right. Well, if I can say from my experience within going to those, like, I usually go to them, like, every year. But because of COVID, I wasn't able to go to them. But usually most of the time I go. So my experience from them is that depending on which one you want to go to, you can go to like the maid cafes or butler cafe, whichever gender you prefer. And the basis of it is that you go in there, you are served a food and a drink, usually. And then there is a dessert in there. That applies for both of either one of them, whichever you go to. And from what I've had... from the maid cafe, it was like an omi rice that I had. It had ketchup on there, and then it was like you can ask the maid to put on a design with the ketchup on your omi rice. I believe I did mine with the design of a cat. Aww. And then another one was back last year, a heart that says I love you. That was like a long time ago.
Adorable.
Long time. The one that I do remember is a dongo. I don't know if you guys know what that dongo is, but that is like a dessert or food.
Is it that weird like donut thing that has the jelly stuff in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one.
They have one in Pokemon, in the card game.
Ah.
I'm yet to try one.
I see.
Maybe at Odafest 2023.
You should probably grab it. If they have them there, you should grab me one also. We'll try them.
Bet.
But yeah, those are like the basis of it. And they usually have like a session or like a contest sort of when you're in there. So usually they will do like these games or something in there. And with the games, I remember that we did one where we had to make a poem for somebody. Or like anything in particular. Just like for the contest. And if we win first place, we get these certain gifts or something. With my table, we won first place.
Nice.
And we got like these little gifts from them and stuff. So I forgot what it was, but I think it was like a little miniature crown. It's pretty cute.
That's cute. That is indeed cute.
Yeah, it was really nice. And depending on whoever is like your maid or your butler, you can do all sorts of things with them, and not the 18 plus stuff. So for example, if you guys know what a kabedon is, you can do that to either the maid or the butler if you want to. And I actually have video of me actually pouring water of my butler of water in their mouth. Literally. I do. And then
spicy.
Yes, indeed. It was really worth the experience that I'll always keep mesmerized in my heart.
Aww.
So I can say overall it's a really wonderful experience. Oh, I forgot to mention, they also do like a dance or something or singing for us at the end usually.
Oh, that's nice.
So it was a really great experience. The atmosphere is amazing. You can also get your pictures with them as well.
Ooh,
and I managed to get a picture of both the maid and also the butler.
I remember you showing me that this year. That's right.
It's really memorable. And you can also buy some extra gifts at the store if you decide to.
Ooh.
So for overall, from me going to there for almost like more than 5 years, I recommend you guys go there. It's an experience that you will never forget, and you'll definitely be worth enjoying.
Indeed.
So we've had our food, we've ventured around, we've visited a maid cafe. It's now becoming the end of the Sunday. So what is there any sort of things that happens? You book out of your you leave hotels, get out. Do these conventions, assuming larger ones, because every convention's different.
Right.
Is there any sort of special thing? Do they give you gift bags? Is there like fireworks? What goes on?
So, quick little thing with the Animathon and Odafest. I know for Animathon and Odafest, they give you bags. I think if you buy the VIP passes, I know you could buy them individually because they have their own official store at the conventions themselves. I just don't know about other places on the count that I only go to Animathon and Odafest. Voice actors and actresses. That's something that we almost forgot to touch upon.
Yeah, we can do that afterward. We've done the tour here.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. They official merchandise by conventions do usually sell their things. Either at the vendors or outside the vendors, depending on what they have. Do you buy official stuff, the Erosion, from any of Animathon? Or not too much?
I did buy their pins.
Ooh.
I did buy at least 2 of them back in the past. I still have them. And I got their anniversary art book
Ooh.
as well.
Jealous.
I have not opened it at all. It is still sealed.
Keep it sealed. Good money out of there.
Indeed. I bought those 2, and I can say, depending on what you wish to buy from them, their quality is really good. And I also got their shirts as well. I got their t-shirts.
Yep.
So I got one that was like back in 2018, it was a race car driver theme that they had.
Oh yeah, the race king and queen.
Yes, that's right.
That was the last one at my work before we shut down, where we had the flyers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, they sell those things every year, so every year they always have a different theme.
Different theme.
And yeah, definitely overall, I recommend you guys definitely gonna buy their merchandise.
Official merch is always nice. Makes you memorize, like, hey, I remember this one year of this anime convention where I had fun attending. And yeah, near the end, the dance, like you mentioned earlier. Dances do usually happen at anime conventions. Either like party ones. Sometimes it's masquerade, though. It depends on what the anime convention feels. I used to go to the party ones, but then I realized that puts a lot of fun out of me at the end. I go to my hotel rooms and I just flop when I finish dancing. But no, yeah, those happen usually at nighttime or the second night, on the count that the last day is the last day of the convention. And yeah.
Does Rojin go to any of these events?
Honestly, I actually haven't been to any of those events within my time. Usually my curfew when it comes to anime convention is within 6 o'clock usually, because things tend to get very dark. Well, and I'm not usually the one for staying up too late, because
makes sense.
The responsible one.
In downtown or wherever you go in an urban place, things tend to get a little bit crazy.
Very sketchy indeed.
Very sketchy. I mean, I can say from one experience I had when I was going from where we go for Animathon, there was this homeless person that was literally just on the street trying to almost like redirect people in a way when that's not supposed to be their job on the road. Yeah, and I'm like, just keep moving forward.
But yeah, so that's basically a tour, it seems like, of a convention, a quick one at least. You're going to spend a lot of time there. There's going to be a lot of people, hygiene, mask up if you're feeling safe, carry some hand sanitizer.
Yep.
But before we get into the final sort of Q&A here, I had one last question. We didn't really talk about voice actors, and because I know
special guests.
Yeah, Comic Cons have like book writers, they have actors and stuff you can go meet.
Voice actors.
I guess this can also lead into the question I had was about con etiquette, but I guess the major thing is going to these conventions is the voice actors. So what should we know about going to these places? How do you check about if who's going what? How do you go about meeting them, talk to them? Because probably assuming this is somebody's first time,
right?
They're going to be super excited. They see somebody, they're going to be like just fangirling, fanboying, whatever.
Either or.
What do you expect when you go?
Conventions would usually post up on their website or social media, Twitter, Facebook, etc., etc. They would post up on there who is coming. So say, for instance, Odafest this year showed us that Torbjorn was coming to Odafest. Seeing that today is the new release of the Animathon website, December 17th, there is no update at the moment for anyone, but they will tell you down the road, hey...
As it gets closer.
When it gets closer, or at least earlier in the year before it gets closer, like blankets come in. Say, for instance...
Buzzy's thinking on that. Do you have any tips and suggestions about somebody's first time meeting an actor, what they should expect and whatnot?
Well, just like Len said, and from my experience meeting a lot of my voice actors that I like, just have common decency as a normal person, how you would treat anyone, obviously. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all people, and everybody deserves that respect. And with prices, as mentioned, I mean, it all varies depending on the voice actor that you go to. Some charge a little bit more than others do, and some have like a bundle price that you can always get combined with it. So, from my experience, I'll say one example. I got my autograph signed and also my picture taken with my voice actor, David Hayter. If you know who that is the guy from the Metal Gear Solid series. And usually you can always like ask him to like do a voice line or something like that, but that might have to charge extra if ever they want them to do something. And overall, I can say just bring whatever you would like to have signed. I got signed my art book from the game that I've known him for, which is like Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. That has always been my thing with him. And there's a whole bunch of other voice actors that were like signed in that book, by the way. But point is, to something that is something memorabilia, I guess you can keep. You can have it signed in your name, or you can have it just signed randomly just for the public. And then you could possibly make money if you want.
Indeed.
That's up to you, though. Personally, I just like to keep something personal. But that's my gist of my experience with the voice actors.
With mine, I had my first real time going to a convention. There's my favorite, and you might actually like it. It's a book called Monstrous. It's really good. It's like a dark Final Fantasy. It's a mix of Eastern and Western art style and writing. But the lady who was doing the art was actually at the convention, and she was actually, and I'd say this is a tip too, on the outskirts of the halls where they have the lesser known people. And she was like, no one was coming up to her table. And so I walked straight up. I'm like, oh my God, you're my favorite artist of all time. And she's like really happy and stuff. And I got to talk to her, and because no one was going to see her. And she's like, oh, thank you so much for like my stuff. She signed my stuff for free. So sometimes knowing and loving like smaller artists and checking those outskirts, because I'm really bad at realizing who people are, like by name. I know them by their work. So it's like, I'll be walking by, I'm like, oh my God, that's the person who did like IDW Transformers and stuff. So you can catch free art and free signatures and stuff from people. Yeah, like Gail Simone was just chilling one time, and Mike walked past her and was like, you're Gail Simone. And you're like, yes. And we're like, we love your stuff and we sell your books. And she's like, you want to see something new I'm working on?
Jealous.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's kind of cool.
That's pretty nice. So I guess having that equal respectability and just acknowledging even the small people, and especially whether it be big or small, everybody's fair. So I think giving that fairness is exactly what people deserve. So
John Delancey was pretty cool.
Oh, he was amazing.
We met him, and I got starstruck when I tried to go up to him, and
he was speechless.
He was pretty cool about reading that. I guess he's just so used to it. So he went into his Q voice. And I'm like, so what do you think about humanity? And he's like, I'm still watching you guys. Picard hasn't been born yet, so we'll see. I'm just back here to watch you guys again. I like this rerun.
Imagine.
So, Brendan Hunter, that's the one I was thinking of. Back to me quickly. Keep an eye out, social media or website on who's coming.
I might still have the video on my phone, but he got me Kirito's English voice actor to say a line from the parody show of the Abridged series.
Actually, one moment.
My sandwich, it was innocent.
One moment, wait.
Bruh. Imagine.
He had no clue what the line was from.
Imagine.
One moment. I'm getting there.
But yeah, as he does that, so I guess we'll start closing up here, basically about this convention. So yeah, we'll show it to him after. So talking about etiquette, and there's been a lot of convention stuff. Like if you look in the media, that's just like bad news bears. Like there was the whole ball pit, that Twitch convention, Tumblr convention. There's things that happen at hotels, like furry cons definitely get bad
negative
reps,
side,
for
yes.
good reasons. And then you going there is, say, like maybe somebody who's not really into the anime scene hardcore like some people are.
Right.
Maybe you're just like your average, like a office worker who enjoys watching the occasional like Kobashi on the side at lunch break, and your favorite characters there. How would you guys recommend, or any sort of tips, tricks, and what's the word?
Recommendations?
I said it earlier. Etiquette.
Etiquette, yes.
What etiquette should you expect, and is it okay? Should we normalize these sort of etiquette like assumptions that we should have people to a high standard?
I think really overall, just have self-control and just have that maturity as a person. Whether you're a minor or an adult, you should just have to learn to have that. Because
occasionally you could have some silliness to other randos out there. I might see probably a McCree out of nowhere. It's like he does his high noon thing. It's like, very funny. Again, occasionally have your fun, but yes, be mature towards it.
Just having that respectability as a person is, I think, the thing that we all should have, because at the end of the day, we're all people here.
Indeed.
And as much as we love to live like in our obnoxious
minds,
fantasy in ourselves, we're still in real life here. And I think we just need to have ourselves within the down-to-earth common ground. We just need to learn to have that.
Indeed.
And if you show that, people respect you more.
Yep.
And of course, having those occasionally silliness is fine. But yeah, just show that and it will come a long way.
Yeah, for the most part, I've seen from the conventions around our areas and the ones we've gone to, there's been not really any huge issues, but there is always the one horror story somewhere. So.
That's a panel. I know there's one panel, I can't tell if it's Anime Thon or Odafest, but it's like Anime Convention Horror Story, and I really want to go into one of those one day.
Well, I guess since on the thing of horror stories, and quickly, we forgot to talk about it, but prop check-in, basically every convention will have, and this applies to any place that has dress up is allowed or things you can buy. Check your thing. Usually it's on their website, or you can call in when it gets closer, especially whether it will allow certain materials or certain props. Some places might not allow weapon replicas. Some may be full blown okay with everything as long as it has an orange tip, but or foam core. But yeah, basically, if you're going to make a character, especially if they have some sort of weapon or something that can be deemed a weapon, always make sure to check your local area for what they seem to be the thing. Most places generally all kind of keep around the same idea from what I've seen. So, and then of course it's free. You just check in, they put a little armband on it, and you're good to go.
Yep.
So I guess we'll start ending it up here. Does anybody have any last final thing they want to say? Any horror stories, maybe, since we just talked about that, or any good stories? I know you talked about the
Maid and Butler Cafe.
The Butler Cafe. You said you wanted to go talk to a panel about a horror story, and I've basically said my things. And of course, I want to state that as much as I meme upon the weebs in this convention, I have no actual hate towards said weebs. I just like when the whole like you're part of it, you make fun of. So.
Quick little horror story. Well, mind you, this happens to a good majority of us weebs, where there will be always one point where you go to a convention and you forgot something. Either it's a prop, if it's something for like your chargers, or like money sometimes, or like something that you want something to sign. It'll happen to all of us. I can assure you it will.
So prepping ahead of time is a good thing.
Prepping ahead of time is a very good thing, especially for you newcomers. Probably do it a day or two, even a week before the convention starts, just so then you can know that everything is set in place.
Yeah. I actually do have one story, and this is from my experience, and from what I've seen and what I had to deal with. I dressed up as a Neko Boy a couple times before, and my experience is there's been a couple of guys that just like to pull on my tail.
It's tempting.
Every time, and I'm just like, bruh, like, imagine, bruh, like, seriously, bruh, you gotta pull on the tail. I know it's fake, but why the tail, bruh? So...
It's the tail.
I blame my addiction to VR chat, but it's always see a tail, gotta grab the tail.
Bruh.
It's been so bad. One time I almost I was at a D&D event, somebody was talking or something, and they're a good friend of ours, so like I knew them. So they're talking stuff, and they're like, "I did this thing." I was like, "Oh, that's good." I stopped myself from physically head patting them.
Imagine, bro.
Imagine, not me. Couldn't be.
Anyway,
the other one that I also saw was that some of like the guys, I see them trying to look under the skirt of the cosplayers, and then that they even try to like flip them up, like when they were passing on the cafeteria. I was like, imagine, bro. Yeah. Trying to fulfill yourself, but I don't think that's a proper way of doing that.
To be the pattern character.
Yeah.
Be very careful about that. People could probably call security on you. Yeah. So don't be.
You guys are already made fun of enough.
Yeah. No, we don't.
Those who are of the other gender or dress up with dresses and things, or non-pants. It's usually not that way, and there is always security around, and the guys who run these places, usually at every exit, are very serious about this. So
yeah, and if you feel uncomfortable, go towards one of them. Let them know. Like,
there's always somebody there. Go in groups, even if you have to for your first time. I'd even recommend going in a group.
Go in groups. No, definitely go to groups.
Yep.
Just to get comfortable in the layout.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess unless you had anything else to say,
I'm all good.
All right. So leading into, I guess I can say I have a story. I went to my very first VR con. This was especially during COVID. Conventions started to go online, VR chat, Meta, all that stuff started to host them. They're actually integrating them now into conventions. So when they have dances and live DJs or panels, you'll see them usually with a TV screen on the dance floor with a world that looks the same as that world, and you'll see the characters dancing.
That's beautiful.
And it's pretty cool to see. And it's like, of course, instead of cosplay, you have your characters.
Right. And
then, of course, they have, set of rules and lines like, hey, you can't have adult avatars or certain amounts to be covered.
Again,
because kids is a whole other topic, and like doing stuff as a family and, awareness. But would you guys ever be willing to try a VR, like a virtual convention? Because I know there's like a band from Code Geass is doing a live VR band thing. There's been other stuff. Video Game Awards was through like VR chat.
Maybe down the road, I might just once, just to see what it's like. Does intrigue me. Granted, I won't get anything from physical, but I mean, like,
some places do if they charge a fee. Well, they have like if you buy their like VIP pass, they have physical things they'll mail to you. But yeah, it's mostly you're buying digital stuff for your avatars or to unlock digital like movies and anime and stuff.
It is intriguing. full disclosure quickly, you don't need a VR headset for VR chat. You could do this without a VR headset.
Desktop mode exists.
Desktop mode exists.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you know what they say, first time is for everything, so
yeah,
I don't
indeed.
mind. Sometime I try it, I like it, sure. If I don't, at least I tried.
Yeah,
Indeed.
The big one I know is Ferality.
Ferality,
It was the big first one. It was like a furry one. But the same idea as like Animathon. Every year they have a theme. It's like a weekend long. They have a bunch of famous like artists, writers, singers, movies, all that stuff. But it's all in VR. But yeah, I think that's it for me. Unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about, or
I'm all good.
I'll do a quick recap on the dates for both Otafest and Animathon.
Sure, what are the dates?
So, Animathon 2023 is July 14th to 16th. As for Otafest, bear with me here. Otafest is May 19th to 21st, 2023.
Okay. Do you have any sort of things you want to plug, Rojan? Any art stuff you do? Any YouTube, Twitch streaming?
Well, let me think here. There's only 2 things that I do. And I do a little bit of Twitch streaming every now and then. But I am on a different social app that's like a VTubing called Reality. And people know me on there as one of the biggest, I guess you could say, well-known people on the app. So there's a lot of people around the world that know me for a long time. And I would recommend, and this isn't sponsored, you guys, I would recommend you go check out Reality. It's a wonderful, great app where you can be as a beginner VTuber so you can get a feel of how it means to be VTubing. And then in the future, if you wish to move to Twitch, at least you know what to do. So I'd recommend for anybody that wishes to do that, feel free to do so.
And then of course for Glenn, we have, where can they find you?
Small Ukpik, twitch.tv. In fact, I might do one later tonight, December 17th, on some more shiny hunting Pokemon on Let's Go Pikachu.
Yeah. And of course for me, guys, if you're seeing this, you're already on the channel. My Twitch and my links are on the channel there up in the banner, and you can see all that stuff on there. Make sure to subscribe, ring the bell so that me and Glenn can know you guys are here and you guys can see when we post these. So with that, I've been Will, your designated driver.
I'm Glenn, your designated drinker.
With our guest,
Rojan, I'm just your normal person that's just trying to survive.
Are we all?
So with that, guys, as our PSA, please don't drink and drive. Drink responsibly. Have fun with friends, but always make sure to get home safe, and others can get home safe too. We will see you guys in the next podcast. Bye now.